Well, YouTube Archie here once again with a new story in my journey to search for Indians is going to continue very longer than I expected, not only due to the once great Chief Metacom, but now that I've looked into my roots of my mother being born in Corning, New York, her father and grandfather being in the Corning area, Waverly area, all their lives, has now led me to this. And I don't know where the hell my father's getting all this stuff, but he's got shit, and I'm re-sparking memory of. He must have forgot he had, but I talked to him the other night about Corey Indians in Corning, New York. And he never really read into that, but he had this article. So this is probably the only thing that he has of it, due to the fact that he himself used to go to Corning, New York, Big Flats area, because my aunts and uncles moved out that way. Of course, my grandmother lived out that way also, but just crazy stuff that keeps getting thrown in my face. And it's just blowing my mind that this is all keeps coming in now like a river running wild. And what strikes me out of this story, though, is, as you can read in the headlines, huge Indians once ruled the area. Now, not only could I possibly be one of the Indians' blood in these tribes, the Andastes, which this Indian right there, Andastes, were one of the eastern United States' most unusual tribes. Their distinguishing character was their stature. In that era, the average white European was only slightly over 5 feet in height. Their neighbors, the Mohawks, stood 5'4" and a tall Seneca, which is another tribe from New York, might reach 6 feet 2 inches. But for the Andastes, the height of 6 foot was common, and some stood nearly 9 feet. Not only were they immense, but they were extremely fierce and independent, and even their Indian neighbors stayed away from them if uninvited. And the story begins with, and this is written by this leader feature story, is based on material provided by Robert R. Gill of 91 West French Street, a past president of the Corning Painted Post Historic Society. And the guy who wrote this article, Bob Bovelify, leader staff writer, must be a newspaper in Corning, New York. But the Chemung Valley, which is Corning, New York, and throughout Corning, New York and Waverly, this, like I said, my family grew up in the 1700s on this book. Supposedly, that's late 1600s, early 1700s. my father told me something about this book that white man and Indians, started mixed breeding. So who knows what could have happened here with my family. But not only that, what strikes me crazy about also this, if these people stood 9 feet tall, could this be a sign of the Bigfoot theory? Now, whether or not it exists today, which it could, but more of the sightings of Bigfoot, how do you know it could? I've been thinking, and it's been nailing, shit in my head left and right. Because it says here the settler was, aside from occasional bird calls or either side of stillness is utter. Where did it say? Oh shit, where'd it go? I'm trying to find it. Well, anyways, in the beginning of the story area, settler, white man, was going through a path. And this also brings a lot of things to me about Indian stories out here in Massachusetts about forbidden. Now they say Bridgewater, the swamp out there. Indians say, oh, it's haunted, it's scary. But you know what? They also say forbidden. Now, in my eyes, forbidden means, right, do not enter. But you know what? In the book, The Great Powwow, in one of the battles, Bridgewater Swamp, Indians, was the first battle that the Indians ran in to the Bridgewater Swamp, and the English followed, and they got killed. Forbidden to the Indians means stay out, not that they fear it. Indians feared nothing. At night, they would roam through the woods during battle. They'd get their proper sleep that they need, but they would up all hours of the night. They could do anything. And it's only proven in the Great Powwow due to the first Lancaster burning down fire. And they kidnapped the wife and children. She, and I quote, said in the book that the Indians fear nothing. That she felt safe with them because throughout the woods with all them wild animals and bears and you rustle up stuff, Indians didn't care. And for this being a forbidden path in this article the guy was walking on, he was one of the first white men to see these Indians in their tall, huge, massive form, 9 feet tall. It goes on saying around here that the first Indian that came out of the path stood high, and then the next two were even taller. And they just stood there with their arms folded looking at him, and with no reply of nothing said. He turned around. Where is it? I think I got it. Appeared blocking. Oh, yeah. 2 more Indians appeared blocking the trail. They are big as the first. They silently stand, arms folded, and the explorer instantly gets their message through. Not a word is spoken. He turns his heel, and runs, not walks, back in the direction from whence he came. The explorer has his first contact with the legendary Andastes, and it's supposed to be there's no known Andastes alive today due to battles and stuff with the Aquarius. I want to keep saying Aquarius, but it ain't Aquarius. It's Ilquirus. Indians. These two Indian tribes used to battle it out badly due to the fact that the Ilquirus had the similar language to the Mohawks, and these Andastes hated the Mohawks. Like I said, hey, not only did the Indians fight with the English and made history to make these guys look like savages, but they fought with their own kind. And this article reads it. I mean, I can't go through the whole thing because it takes too long, but I mean, it's just, I mean, I read it. I can explain the story, but it's just crazy. Today, it says sad to say about that too. No Andastes are known to exist, but many of their artifacts survive as well as their main site at Spanish Hill, now at Pennsylvania State Historical Park. Much of the study and evacuation work with their guns. But there you have it. If you ever want to check out where they lived, I mean, be careful going there trying to dig, but the Andastes Indians, they were huge. But my thoughts and theories on that is just, what if they were the ones that came about making this Bigfoot thing? Or what if they, if they do exist, Bigfoot, what if it is not said that these guys skinned a bear or skinned something similar or even skinned a Bigfoot and used that method to all the other Indians? Because I found in the Apache tribes further out west, I have a picture. I have to go over that one day to show people. Or if you look it up online, try punching in Indians that wore scary costumes to scare monsters might come up. Because this Indian looked demented and very demonic in a suit that they made to scare monsters. So these monsters must have been the Bigfoot. But if these Indians stood 9 feet tall, as big as the Bigfoot, and back then, height in people, if you were over 9 feet friggin' tall, even existed being huge, back then was abnormal, insane to the people. You would probably go to the nut house being that friggin' tall. But, the chief that plays in, his name is Samson, and he plays in Poltergeist 3, which he unexpectedly dies in that movie doing an Indian seance because he was a chief and he played in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And when Jack Nicholson keeps referring to him as a chief, that's right, because he is a chief. And he was at least 6'5", monstrous. He was a big boy. And to think of that, and then an additional, say the Big Show of the WWE. He stands about 7.5 feet tall. But then you have that Guinness Book of World Record guy that stands at least, 8.5 feet tall, 9 feet or whatever. But there you have it. Back then, though, it was abnormal. And if these Indians existed, holy shit, because they found a skeletal structure of a man that tall. So, that is proof that these people did exist. So, it's in my mind and thoughts and theories that what if these guys killed out the Bigfoot, but to stay, and like they said, they didn't like no one in their land without invitation. So I mean, if they live out in them woods, and they want people to stay out, why not throw on a skin suit and run around and scare people to stay the fuck out? I mean, them are my thoughts and theories, man. Things are racing through my heads right now due to this article coming out, and it's like, wow. I am just mind-boggled. It's insane. And then I come out with more thoughts and theories of why things exist. And I don't know why anybody of the future is even coming out of this. Nothing's coming out of this for people that want to look up in history. This is something to think about. These people could have killed out that Bigfoot theory, is right, but kept it living. I mean, even if they do exist now, which, yeah, knocks in the tree, which I heard out in the old Revolution Cemetery, but no one knows about any known living, as they say, Indians in this area, but there was. And like I said, they weren't big tribes out here, but they existed. And who knows what this theory is with Bigfoot, because even an article came up about Indians and the giants. Look it up. And that says too about Indians fighting these giants. Who the hell knows what? Once again, here it is. This is proof. Right here. These might have been the giants people talk of. The Indians talk of. Because they were an Indian tribe just like them, but obviously they stayed to themselves because they were bigger and the freaks of nature back then. So they had to stay out of the, say the public's eye. Because if they did, everybody would be like, wow, let's gang up and kill them. And they did extinct. So, holy shit. Somebody must have wanted them really dead, and when them Aquarius Indians they were probably so freaked out about them that they had the mission to be rid of them. We have to get rid of them. And that's what happened, because now not one of them is known to exist. Which, who knows, though, this was written, due to the color of the paper, I would say early 70s, late 60s, this article was written, so. Because I have another paper from the 70s, and it's this color, so yeah. I'm for damn sure 70s, 60s this came out, so. I don't know, man. That's my thoughts and theories on this, and who knows what blood runs in me now due to my family members. And a lot of people mixed breeding with Indians back then like that, so. Once again, my quest for Indians is gonna be even longer. But this is even awesome to know, because I know when I went to travel to Corning, New York, man, I loved that place. It was settled. It made me feel like safe. I felt as I was as home. Even in Ayer, Massachusetts, home of the Nipmuc tribe, I felt as home in these towns. I love small towns, but I also love the city and the noise and the lights. But, of course, that's what the modern day people wanted to do to you, suck you into the city. But to live in these small towns like it was back then, how I did, I don't know, I enjoyed it so much. I wish I could go back to both cities and bring them together, but now I know why. Because it was home for real and home of the Indians. And I did get to see the chimney rocks. They are now gone, literally, but them things stood high, and these Indians lived all around that. And there was a battle in Corning, New York, like I said, with the Bloody Run, so looks like my mission one day is to get out here to Corning, New York, Waverly, and check out the distance of the stories and get the stories and visit some old stomping grounds of where I used to live. But once again, YouTube Nation, I'm blown away by this myself. My thoughts and theories on it are just mind-boggling, but I'm about to wonder if that's who created Bigfoot. The people that must have wiped them out. Just keep the legend and scare people off, because as you can see, obviously everybody wanted them dead because of their freak of nature. But, YouTube Nation, once again, till the next video. Mission out.